with you. A couple quick business notes for those of you that are already here. We're going to cut this one just a little bit short today because right afterward we are going to jump over to a Zoom call, which you are all invited to, and it's going to be just dancers from all over the world hanging out, listening to jazz. Matthew and I are going to DJ for a couple hours and just hang out. So you can dance, you can sip a cocktail, you can just chill out and listen to the music. You can fold laundry while there's music playing, whatever you want to do. But that's going to be on a Zoom call at the end of this lesson, starting at 1 o'clock. So you're welcome to join for that. I'll post the link for that Zoom call afterwards for anyone that needs it. But for now, make sure you check out the music that I've linked down below. It's music by Jacob Zimmerman and also by Jonathan Doyle, two Pacific Northwest locals that we want to support. We'll be dancing to music from Jacob's album More of This and Jonathan Doyle's album Too Hot for Socks. And I posted the Bandcamp links there so you can pick those up as well. Hello and hello. Nice to see you all. We're going to get started in a couple of minutes. No, not even that, but I want to give folks a chance to jump on. Looks like we've already got a few. Oh, someone already likes it. I've just showed up and talked, y'all. Here's a fun announcement. We're going to have t-shirts soon for the Syncopation Foundation that a swing kid designed for us. Juliana did some design, and I'm digging it. So we're going to look for ways to get that produced, and then we'll have those up for a pre-order pretty soon, which we've never had before, Syncopation Foundation merch. Then, one more reminder, we're going to do a choreography today, and when you do those, if you send me a little video of yourself doing it, and I get critical mass, which is probably 4 or 5 people sending me videos, I'll cut together a little supercut of the choreo and post it up on YouTube and all that stuff, and you can be dance famous with us. Yeah, exactly, represent. We are going to get started here in a second. We're going to do the usual dance warm-up. So if you find yourself some space, you can move, don't run into stuff, don't smack things. I'm going to dance to some Jacob Zimmerman music here, and I recommend you follow along just to get the bodies warm. This is Ballin the Jack from More of That. Nice. Hey, welcome to everybody that just jumped online. Looks like we doubled who was here during that warm-up. That's pretty awesome. In case you missed it before, I just announced that we are going to have Syncopation Foundation t-shirts soon, designed by one of the swing kids. So thanks, Juliana, and keep an eye out for that stuff. Today's music, we just danced to some Jacob Zimmerman, and we're about to dance to some Jonathan Doyle. This song from Jonathan Doyle is called Prince Harles, like Prince Charles but with no C. And it's from the album Too Hot for Socks. And the link is down below in the details if you want to pick that up. We're going to listen just a little bit to the song real quick. It's got a long, kind of weird intro. We'll be dancing to choreography starting in about 14 seconds. But let's listen to the whole thing together just to get a feel for it. And here's where the choreo will start. So that's what we're going to be dancing to. A couple quick notes about today's choreo. One of them is that it's going to be a little bit trickier technically, so there might be some more difficult moves. The other thing, though, is we're going to do a little bit less of it, so it'll be a little bit shorter bit of vocab, so you have time to really work on mastering those difficult pieces. And also, in case you weren't here earlier, so that we can take off about 10 minutes early and jump over to the other platform. And on Zoom, we're going to have a big old dance party. We're hosting that will have DJ'd music from me and Matthew, and we'll dance until we're done dancing. So I'll post a link for that at the end of this whole lesson. But for now, let's get started right away because we got some tricky stuff to get through. The first move we're going to be doing is called a boogie drop. I'm sure a lot of you know it. The way we're going to do this is going to be more rotational than sometimes it is. So a boogie drop is kind of where I just touch the same foot to the ground twice and then finally transfer most of my weight to it. So I can go touch, touch, step. So it's just kind of like testing the bathwater and then jumping into it. We're going to twist our hips a little bit to the left while we tap with our right foot. Touch, and then I touch out here to the side, touch, and then I drop onto it. So I have boogie drop. And I have like a medium height touch, a tall one, and then a low one. So it goes medium, tall, drop. And normally that would go into boogie drops on the other side. For example, in the trank you do, they go right side, left side, and kind of round it out. We're gonna get weird. So we're going boogie drop. We're gonna go straight from there into a twist, like followers do in a swing out, but we're gonna go left first. Left, right. The reason we're doing that twist is to prep for a faster turn. It's still a walking turn, it's not a spin. But we've gone boogie, drop, twist, twist. Now I'm going to step in front of myself and turn around this way. So we have two, ooh. And I'm kind of spinning around that way. If you don't have a slick floor, don't worry. It's fast enough, you don't have to do much sliding. But let's listen to where that goes in the music and let that tell us how our rhythms work. So I'm going back to about 14 seconds on the song, which is where the intro kind of fades into that bass line, and it sounds like this. So we have that boop, boop, boo at the beginning. That's going to be our boogie drop. So I'm going da, 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 ba-da, ba-da. I have that whole thing that he's playing. We're actually dancing every sound of it right now. It gets weird later, but for now we're sticking with that. So we went Womp, ba, ba. Twist, twist, step, step. So I'm going left, right, left, right. And the important thing about my last two steps is the placement on the floor. My twists are kind of split weight. My left comes underneath me, and my right foot goes in front. So I'm now making a line toward my audience over here. So we have 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 5, and 7. And we're going to let that bring us all the way around. The next thing we're going to do is called the corkscrew. So let's isolate that for just a second. That's what I'm going to take. I'll start with my left foot. I'm going to dig it into the floor with my heel, and I'm going to pivot my whole body around it. So what it's not is just like fanning the floor with one foot. It's actually bringing my body through with that. So my butt's kind of steering this thing. So I can go, meow. And you can practice that on both sides. We do it sometimes in the warm-up. You've seen it before. So we've gone boogie, drop, twist, twist, ball change. As we spin around on that right foot, our left foot's going to come forward and corkscrew us, and just kind of squishing that bug into the ground. So we have a ba, ba, boom, ba-doo, ba-doo, ba. And we have that long note in the saxes, so we're going to just ride that long note here. Ba, doo, be, da. Then we have, if you've done Balboa, this is just an out and in, like kind of a lazy out and in. Or a rock and go if you learned Lindy Hop in the early 2000s. So you've gone here. I'm going to go back, back, front. So I have corkscrew, back, back, front. So let's try just that much, and then I'll come over and see if you have questions. So if you have questions, now's a great time to start typing them so it actually gets to me by the time we get over there. So we're going to go 5, 6, 7, 8, boogie, drop, bottom, bottom, corkscrew, triple step. Let's see if we have questions on there. I see a working monkey and a smiley face. I don't know how to answer that question, so I'm just going to say, I like you too. So let's try this whole thing all together with the music real quick. I'm going to go back to that 14-second mark so we get that bass intro. I hope you can hear that over the live stream. Here we go. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. So with our choreo right now, we're taking it really literally, right? We're really right on those beats. Tips for balance, Yvonne, that's a great question. The easiest way to balance is going to be putting your weight right underneath you. So instead of being like reaching out in front of me like this, on a corkscrew or something like that, which you can do for a short amount of time, but eventually gravity is going to win, I'm going to keep my feet really close. The more you get going, the more you really understand the movement and you commit yourself to that, the more you can kind of take risks and you let the momentum carry you. So I can get kind of extreme on that if I'm throwing my weight into it. But when I'm starting out, I want to keep it kind of underneath me just while I memorize those shapes. So when I'm starting, maybe it looks more like this. Beat, beat, ba, beat up, ba, beat, da. So I'm kind of keeping it contained. Another thing that's going to help a ton is keeping that vertical pulse. So even though I'm not doing triple steps in Lindy Hop sense, I'm not doing a swing out, right? I'm still keeping that swing feeling. Dee, dee, da, beat up, ba, beat up. And I have that down, 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 every quarter note. Another thing that's going to help a lot with balance, and this is something that's a little bit scary at first until it's not, is when you have one foot on the floor, try picking up your other knee just a little bit further. Your body won't like that because it's used to keeping those feet close to the ground so you can catch yourself. But what it will do is it'll realize there's a little bit of danger of falling. And as you pick that other leg up, your body will do what it needs to do to keep you from falling on the floor with other things than not just the legs. Let me know if that helps. If it doesn't help, I will give you some more tips on that too. Tips on balance. So we're gonna add on just a little bit because we're gonna finish this little section in a second. And I don't want to get too much practice doing that triple step without adding the next thing because it kind of flows together with the next bit. So after we went around, we went ba-da, be-da, ba, triple step. I don't want to leave my left foot behind for very long. I want to let it start sweeping in front. Because we're going to end up doing a big sweep and cross. What I'm doing here is I'm using my tilt of my body to balance me. If I stay upright and I do this, I get really far back because my body tipped behind me, right? So I'm going to stick my booty out. When in doubt, booty out. And then I'm able to do this with some control. So the whole thing in kind of obnoxiously slow motion, so you can see all the moving parts, looks like this. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, and 7, 8. 1, 2, and 3. So when we come to this part, we got twist, twist, ball change, wah, triple step. I'm gonna take this out real quick. I'm gonna kind of pelvic thrust in front of me to get my leg ready to move. So it's not starting from my foot, it's starting from here and carrying through. So we went ba da, feet up, ba, triple step, and I'm already pulling forward with my hips, so that foot can follow around and cross over the top. Don't kick your couch. Sorry, couch. So, cool. Let's try that together again one more time, just with the counts. And we go 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ba da, ba da, ba. Triple step. And we're going to cross that over the top. I'm also going to bring my arms around. A, because it's like a thing to do with my arms. But more importantly, kind of Yvonne's question there, so I don't fall over. So if I'm going here, as my leg goes in front of me, my arm's coming behind me, and that keeps me balanced. If I just do the leg, I have to do a lot more core work. So if I just go opposite here, then I get 3 points for style, but I also just stay on my foot. So let's try that again. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ba 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 da ba da ba boopy da bow. And that's going to come pretty quick. And I'm going to have 2 options for this next move. One of them is a crawl or a pigeon walk, or there's a lot of different names for it. And one of them is the slide that we did last week. I'm going to recommend doing the slide, the drag, because it's easier. And as you kind of get to like, okay, cool, I got this, I want some extra sauce, you can add the crawl in too. I'll show it real quick, but then I'll probably dance the slide most of the rest of the time. So we did 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5. Or we can go 4, 5. So that was meh. Totally up to you if you want to do the crawl. Also, maybe depends on your surface and your shoes and all that. But it's kind of saucy, so have fun if you want to. So let's go with the music from the top. I will tell you right now, it's going to be quick. Don't panic if you get a little bit lost. But when we do this faster and with music, A, your brain will learn, oh, that's where it goes in the music. That is the best way to dance, is dancing to music, in my opinion. But B, if you find a place like, okay, that one didn't work at speed, that's where you can ask me questions, and hopefully I can help you out a little bit. So be thinking about that as we go. Here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. It's so much stuff, and it's only been like 10 seconds of song. Good job. If that did generate some questions, hit me up. It will be a second before I see them on the comment feed, but I will answer them as soon as I can. We're going to do the whole thing backward next. So I'm going to take some time on that left side and help us go through those two, and that may answer some of the questions just right away. So we're going to break down the left side a little bit faster, but kind of like we haven't done it before, because your body's got to learn how to do everything backward. So we just finished our crawl or our drag, which means our weight is on our right foot, and the music's going to repeat, so we're going to repeat, but we're going to use our left foot to do it. So we bring that left knee in, we go touch, touch, drop, and then I twist, twist again. So let's just do that much, because thinking about the spinning next can be a little bit messy in the brain. So just that much. We go 5, 6, 7, 8. boogie, drop, twist, twist, ball change. Cool. So the first time we spun this way, that's counterclockwise, or to the left for those of you with digital watches. Second time we're going to go to the right. So we went boogie, drop, twist, twist. That's your preparation for that ball change to put you on this line. So let's go through that a couple of times, because once you've learned it one way, it's actually a little bit wonkier to get back the other direction. So we go left side, boogie drops. 5, 6, 7, 8. Boogie, drop, twist, twist, ball change. It's really easy to accidentally throw your momentum too hard on that twist. Twist, twist, twist. And then it's too late, right? So I want to be going to the right. I need to really stop myself on those twists. So I have boogie, drop, twist, twist. And I'm already thinking about turning to my right. Easiest way to think about where you're going to turn is to turn your face. So look hard to the right at that point, and that'll lock it in. Later you can relax that look a little bit so you don't have to be quite so Zoolander on it, but you can start off a little bit fierce. So let's try that again. We go 5, 6, 7, 8, boogie, drop, twist, twist, ball change. Cool. I'm assuming that's perfect. Let me know if it's not. After that ball change, we've got onto our left foot, which means as we come around further to the right, I can do that same corkscrew, but I'm doing it on my right. Meow, triple step. You can say meow if you want, it helps me. So let's go from the top and see if that works. We go 5, 6, 7, 8. Ba, ba, ba. Ba, da, ba, da. Meow, triple step. Ba, wow. And now we're going to do it with the other side, and then we'll come back and troubleshoot. So if there's a part you're getting stuck on either side, hit me up in the comments. I'm happy to repeat some things. Otherwise, may the force be with you. Here we go. 5, 6, a 5, 6 from the top. Ba, beat up. Oh, I messed up. 5, 6, 7, 8. Da, da, da. Beat up, wah. Ba, beat up, wah. And then again. Da, ba, bum. Ba, da, wah. Do, beat up, wah. I'm going to have us repeat that a few times. I'm guessing the thing that gets a little bit weird is where your feet are supposed to go. It gets a little bit like this in the middle of it. As we go through it at a slower speed like this, try and really feel where your leg wants to flow. And if it's not flowing where you want it to flow, instead of trying to change it right in that moment, try to change it a little bit earlier. So for example, when I get into here, and I've gone beat, dee, da, beat up, and I'm doing my triple step, that's really easy to accidentally rotate too far this way. But if I'm already at the point where I'm tempted to rotate the wrong way and I don't want to flick my foot over and slide, it's probably too late. So I want to think back to at the triple step part there, where I'm putting my hips, remember that pelvic thrust moment. So I've gone da, do, e, ba. I want to be taking my hips toward the front foot, and that'll lead my other foot around in that swoop. If my hips kind of stay locked over my feet, it gets weird. So I really need to think about driving from my back butt cheek. So if my left foot's in front, it's my right butt cheek. Driving forward to bring that around. Let's see. I do most of the turn before the corkscrew. I'm definitely not finished by the time I get to the corkscrew though. I'm using the corkscrew to finish that rotation. So let's do that together. We'll do the right side first. 5, 6, 7, 8. Ba, ba, boom. Ba, doom, ba, doom. So I'm about here as I dig in. And it's going to bring me the rest of the way. So I'm getting just to a quarter turn or a little bit more in the normal amount of turning. The answer is I want to move my shoulders at about the same speed through that whole turn. And then I want to let entropy kind of slow me down as I'm corkscrewing. So I'm powering through, but it's okay if the corkscrew starts to decelerate a little bit. So I need to time it out so that my shoulders don't have to do any extra work to get around there. So try and if we repeat this a couple of times, try and find that even rotation speed of your shoulders, and that will inform your feet what to do. Emma, if that didn't make sense, hit me up on there again. Maybe I can clarify more. So from the top, 5, 6, A 5, 6, 7, 8. Ba ba boom. Ba doom ba dookie da boo da. 6, 7, 8. Ba ba boom. Ba doom ba dookie da boo da. Cool. Let's try that again. I'm going to put the music on one more time, and then we'll slow it down again. But it's important to be listening to the actual musicians and letting them inform as styling happens organically here. 5, 6, 7. Cool. If that's feeling a little brisk, that means this is the right choreography for you, because you can kind of get it slow, but you're not there fast yet, which means there's something to work on. If you have questions about how to speed it up, that's another thing we can definitely talk about. Hit me up in there. But if you think you got it, I won't waste your time. I'm going to go through it again, like I said, a little bit more slowly, so that we have a chance to really excel at it and get the feeling of those shapes. If you're like, cool, Ben, I've got it, I want more to work on, the next thing I want you to start thinking about is where your arms want to flow naturally, and then extending that just a little bit extra. As swing dancers, I don't always want to have stiff, complete shapes, but what I do want to do is be able to get an extension from what's natural. Dancing is cool. Like, if you're dancing with your friends and you're just grooving out, like, you can do whatever the heck you want, it doesn't have to be big. But if you want the audience to notice you a little bit, you want to find what those natural, organic movements are, and then you can be like, cool, if this is my, like, I'm just chilling, and I can just turn it up a little bit, it starts to draw a little bit more focus in a good way. If you turn it up too much, it can draw focus in an extreme way. So it's, we want to find that balance. But look for what you do naturally so we can map that. Here we go, from the top. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, ba, bum, ba, do, ba, do, ki, da, boo, wah. And ba, boom. Ba-doom, wah, doo-ki-da, boo, wah. Cool. I'm not seeing questions yet, but if you got them, shoot them my way, or comments, or concerns, or whatever. You can call me out, because I totally didn't cross my foot on that last one for the first time through. I want to get into the next part, so we can try running the whole thing with music here in a minute. This is a move that I stole from a dancer who's one of the, not originals, but definitely from that earlier generation of dancers. His name's Earl Tucker. He goes by Snake Hips, and you'll see why when you see the move that I just stole. He does it way better than me, so look up Earl Snake Hips Tucker on YouTube, and prepare to be amazed by his outstanding fashion and also his movements. But for now, we just finished that the last slide. We're going to put our weight into our right foot, and we're going to leave our left foot behind. And I'm going to let my ankle kind of flop. So I'm not digging into the floor, but I'm definitely letting it kind of dead leg so that it's got some friction there. And I'm going to push my right hip out using my left butt dimple to do that push. So I'm going to go here, and I kind of get in the instep of my left foot on the floor. And then I'm going to drop onto that foot as I shoot the other one out. So the technique to this is just basically walking, right? I'm just going walk, 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 walk. And I'm kind of letting my foot flop to the side as I go. So I've got flop. And I'm just doing this with my foot. It's not very dramatic, but because I'm doing it at the same time as a drop and a push, it starts to look like there's a big flow to my movement. So I have one, one, one. If you have a sticky floor, if you're on carpet or something, that's okay. It doesn't have to move very much on the floor. It can be very vertical. But what the important thing is it's coming from here, and the feet are just the extension of it. They kind of draw a lot of focus because they're doing a thing. But what I'm thinking about is just letting my ankle relax enough that I can do the, like, I have a crush on that person, or I have to go to the bathroom dance. They're kind of the same thing. And let those feet flip out to the side. And then I'm going to add some hip movement before I get there. What I don't want to do here before you get practicing it too much, I don't want to put weight on my knee when it's in a place like this. That can be really damaging, right? So it may look like I'm over this foot, but I'm actually on the strong one. And that's really important so you don't mess yourself up there, because, you know, dancing is fun. Don't break yourself. Let's see what you got. Yeah, good. Yvonne, I'm so on it. I already answered your question. Is Earl Tucker the one who made it up? That is a question for the ages. He's the one who made it famous. I can pretty much guarantee you'll find a total of about 3 moves where you're able to trace them to their actual creator, because the cutting culture of the time was basically, I saw that person have a move, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to do it my way. And there was definitely some pride of like, when Big B put Shorty George on her back, that is their move. Like, it's really, like, if you do that move, they've done it so well and so publicly that they've got dibs. Same thing with Frankie, and the air step that he made up based on Shorty George and Big B's move was like, okay, cool. This one is probably Frankie's thing, and we're going to call that Frankie's thing. Frankie also did the thing where he outlasted everybody else and got to teach everyone for the first time a bunch of moves that he didn't make up, but we know them as Frankie moves because he's the one that taught them to us. So it's important to realize, like, okay, cool. This is an Earl Tucker move. That's the earliest source I have of it being danced in the way that he did it. But you can totally just watch spirit moves even, which is really common for us, and it's from earlier than the video of Earl Tucker I have, and watch people doing similar things. So I'm sure he's not the original inspiration, but snake hips was his bit, and nobody did snake hips as well as Earl Tucker. So that's my long answer to a short question, but it's important. Cool, let's try that in a bit of context. Let's listen to the music real quick and see where we're going to put it. This goes on the B section because it's weird. So we got boogie drops. Wow, wow, wow. So I'm guessing you can hear where that's going to go. We got wow, 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 wow. The last two are going to be a little bit smaller because we're getting ready for a little bit of a V slide. So we got 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that 7, 8 are kind of jogging in place, but they're going to have a little bit of the flavor left over from that snake hips move. So we have bow, 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 bow. And I just add a little bit of vertical pulse, like a Charleston pulse to it, and that changes the flavor, but without deleting the move. So I have a little transitional 2 steps there. So let's try that all together. We're going to start on 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. And on 8, we're really getting prepped. I'm kind of getting a little bit extra plie on my knees here. I'm turning out just a skosh for a V slide. We're going to do the laziest V slide because A, everyone's on a different surface right now. I'm lucky to have dance shoes and a wood floor. I realize how lucky I am. So wherever you are, we're going to do one of 2 options. One of them is to go here and straighten my knees in a slide. No matter where you are, I'm going to recommend going 1 foot in the other. Shaboom. So instead of going both feet, go ba-boom. And it's fast enough, your audience won't know the difference. If it's a little bit sticky, I can go foop, foop, and actually just take little steps there while I lock my knees out that way. And because you're putting your legs in a weird place, you don't see that it's not a slide. So you can actually step into that slide too. So it's going to go 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. From there, we're going into your basic apple jacks. The version I'm going to do is going to start on my heels and graduate slowly to the balls of my feet. So I'm going to come in and move it from being about my feet to being about my knees popping. So let's listen for that in the music real quick. It's here, I think. So you hear that ba, 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 that's kind of where I'm getting into my knees for that part. we're going fa, 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 fa. So let's do that again. I'm going to do my horrible singing version because I can go a little slower than the music. I'm going to go 5, 6, 7, 8. Fa, 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 da, da, fa, 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 fa. You can do your own Apple Jacks there. Let the music inspire you for whatever your favorite flavor of Apple Jacks are. If you don't have a favorite flavor yet, check out the original Big Apple Contest video on YouTube. When they do the Apple Jacks, they all do a different version and they're all awesome. So go steal from someone better than me. When we're doing the last little bit though, the one thing that I will say is important is I want to be on my left foot by the end because we can start again at the top of the routine. And that's going to be with my right foot doing that boogie drop. So let's take it real slow from the top and see if we can get through it. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, da, ba, ba, da, ba, do, ki, da, do, wa. Ba, ba, bum, ba, do, ba, do, ki, da, do, wa. Ba, 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 do, da, do, da, ba, ba, ba. Again. Oh, question? Nope, not a question. Cool. All right. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ba, 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 do, ba. Triple step and slide. Ba, ba, boom. Ba, do, ba. Boom, speed up, boom, ba. Ba, 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 boom, ba, boom, it up, ba, 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 ba. Da, 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 etc. I think you're cool too, Clarice. All right, we're going to try this with music. It's going to be quick. If you don't have it perfect, I have good news. These videos are all up on the YouTube page already. That's also good news if you haven't seen the other ones that we've done. Every week we've done this. There's a new little one chorus long solo jazz video you can go back and learn on your own. I will try to monitor those comments as best I can. So if you do have questions, you can still comment on those videos and hit me up. So don't feel like you missed the class and you can't come and learn it later. Let's try it with music. 5, 6, 7. Sweet! The counts from the V slide. And yes, please, you got it. So, we got 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But it's a lie. A lot of that is syncopated. This is the problem with Jonathan Doyle, is he's too good for us sometimes. We don't deserve him. And he'll push the beat a little bit sometimes, and he'll lag behind it a couple of times. I'm going to play it once, but it's pretty much just this one quarter notes. So he swings really far in the pocket on the first few. So those toe-themed Apple Jacks are going to be a little bit late on the quarter note. And then the ba, ba, ba with the knees are going to be a little bit early on the quarter note. And so it feels like the rhythm is really funky and weird, even though if you watched it on a sheet of music, it would probably be da, 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 da. It's like he's an artist or something. It's gross. But let's try that one more time from the top, and then I'll come back and check and see if that answered questions. I know there's a delay on that, so we may as well practice while we wait. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7. Oops. We're starting again because I did the wrong side first. 5, 6, 7. Hey, I got a coolio. Excellent. Cool. If you have any other questions, feel free to post them on there now too. What we're missing at this point is lots of practice. The weird thing about a lot of the shapes that we did is right now we're half butting them. And they don't work that well. A lot of the arm movements feel really strange and dinosaur-y in a small space. I tried to choreograph them to the point where you can do most of the big arm movements in a slot. So when we get to here, you don't have to do anything this way with the arm movements, but try and find a space in your house, wherever you are, that can go long, at least in one dimension when you're practicing it, because that flow of the arms is really going to help those things a lot. Another thing that's hard about doing this at beginning speed is that it doesn't commit the weight in the right way, like we talked about earlier with Yvonne's question. So definitely spend some time with this one and just run it with the music. They're very courteous, this band. They've repeated it twice for us, so you can get 2 practices in every time. I will warn you, the intro has a fake start. So if you're practicing, go ahead and just clip it to 14 seconds while you're practicing, and then you can noodle around to the intro and create something beautiful on your own. One of my favorite jazz classes I took just involved teachers that didn't really know their routine, but they did really cool improv getting up to the routine, and I was able to pick up a lot from that. So you can be that part too. If you weren't here at the beginning, important that I tell you this too. We're going to cut it off early today for a couple of reasons. One of them is there's a little bit more fiddly bits in that routine, so it'll take some more practice, and it's not so much vocab, it's just a matter of going, oh, I need to sort my spaghetti feet out. But the more important reason is in about 15 minutes, we're going to jump over to a Zoom chat with people from all over the world. I know we already have some of you in here. I saw some Italians join earlier. The cool thing about that is that anyone can come and it doesn't cost any money, and we can all dance together and enjoy music together. So Matthew and I are going to be DJing for a couple hours. I recommend mixing yourself your favorite beverage, whether that's latte or otherwise. If you got some space in your house, solo jam it out. If you're lucky enough to have roommates, dance with them. And we'd love to have everybody join that. For these classes, we do a routine every week. And the cool thing about routines is we can all do the same thing in the future. So if you feel like you want to be internet famous, I would love it if people would go record yourselves doing these routines, send them my way, and I'll clip together the parts where you look the best in your video with the parts where someone else looks the best in their video, and make a little supercut of it to put up on the Syncopation Foundation Facebook, and maybe even up on YouTube here to get a few of them going. If you have questions about that, or if you're like, I want to show you this video and ask questions, but don't post it, those are totally fine too. You're also welcome to comment on these after they're done. I also want to say a big thank you. I know a bunch of you are supporters of us on our Patreon, and that is why we are able to do these things. I have only so far picked up part-time jobs to keep me going through the quarantine times, even though the dances are closed. So if you are helping us out there, I really appreciate it. If you are not, but you want to, it's patreon.com/Syncopation Foundation. If you give $5 a month, that all adds up to a whole bunch of support for us. One person just donated $25 a month, and that paid for all of our ability to do Zoom on a pro call that's more than 40 minutes, and with a little bit to spare. So there's a lot of little things we can pick up if you can help us that way. The other cool thing about that is we're supporting other artists in the area that are out of work. So if you look on there, we just put up live for even non-subscribers the Move of the Week with Becca Lucero from last week. We were able to pay her for that. And Elaine and Stefan are doing this week's Move of the Week. It'll go up for subscribers today and for everyone else next week. So check that out if you haven't yet. There will be t-shirts soon. Thank you so much, Juliana. You're awesome for designing those for us. I'm looking at production options right now. If you have any cool screen printing shops that are local and are looking for work, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you all over at the DJ party here in just a few minutes. Thanks, friends.